think we might be on the air by now. We might be on the air already, so just in case you're going to mention anything that you didn't want anybody to know. We might be broadcasting already. We're going to start the service shortly. Jeannie Toshima will be our chairperson this morning.
So good morning, everyone. Sensei is going to start our New Year's first service of the 2023 by ringing the Kansho. So if you'll please sit quietly and meditate while he's ringing the bell.
Namo Butsu, Namo Butsu, Namo Butsu, Namo Butsu, Namo Butsu. Well, again, good morning. Mask while I'm up here. We have a pretty good distance between us, and I'll put the mask back on when I'm down on your area. It will be my honor now to read the names of those whom we've lost in the month of January. This is a kind of combined service. This is our first service of the new year, so it is celebratory in that regard. But there's also a solemnity, a sadness in that it is our Shotsuki Hoyo service where we read the names of those whom we've lost in January's past. I will then read our January Shotsuki Hoyo memorial list. Akita Hiraku, Arima Matsu, Babaoka Mikio, Fukeda Shigeyoshi, Fukumoto Kiyosaku, Furumoto Ikuo, Furuichi Tomizo, Yoshiko, Goto Hisayo. Hashimura Frank. Hayashi Hirai. Hayashi Shizuko. Higashioka Hanae. Hino E. Hirakawa Hyakutaro. Hirata Harumi. Hirata Sakuji. Hata Michio. Ishida Kiyoshi. Ito Toshiko. Kaide Nisaburo. Kamon Ayako. Kawamoto Asayo. Kawamoto Hisako. Kawamoto Rikimatsu. Kawamoto Yasuyo. Kawasaki Natsuko. Kawashima Haru. Kazuaki Joe. Kikawa Roy. Kobayashi Kentaro. Konishi Genhichi. Krishna Now. Matsura Ariyoshi. Nagata Toshio. Nagatani Ichiro. Naito Teru. Nishimoto Bunso. Nishimoto Masao. Nishimoto Mine. Nishimoto Shigeko. Nishimura Matsuyuki William. Ogawa Kunai. Ogura Sara. Oka Seiichi. Okada Sachiko. Okumoto Hinayo. Omori Daisuke. Omura Fumio. Omura Katsutoshi. Omura Matsuhira. Omura Suematsu. Ochi Shige. Oshita Rikiji. Oshita Yukimatsu. Otani Kazuyoshi. Oyama Johnny. Oyama Masajiro. Saida Seiichi. Takahara Isamu. Sakiyabu Geinichi. Sano Otumatsu. Sano Sarajiro. Shimizu Senjiro. Sugasawara Yo. Sugimoto Masa. Sugita Matsue. Taketa Iku. Teramae Yasunobu. Terasawa Rio, Terasawa Rio. Toemoto Shichio. Tokimori Yoshimatsu. Tomono Setsuko. Trexler Daniel. Tsuchimoto Kazuyoshi. Uchiyama Hichiro. Umeta Kiyoshi. Umeta Zenichi. Ueda Kyoto. Wakabayashi Yasujiro. Yamada Marjin Kazuko. Yamane Akira. Yamane Isuyo. Yamanaka Michiko. Yamanaka Noboru. Yamasaki Lin. Yamashita Roy Yoshio. Yano Shizue. Yashiki Sakaichi. Yoshida Yozo. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Da Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Da Butsu, Namo Da Butsu, Namo Da Butsu, Namo Da Butsu. Well, thanks to those of you who came forward to offer incense when I called the names of your friend or family member. And thank you all for being here this morning. We will proceed with the Sutra chanting portion of the service. We rely upon the source of limitless wisdom and endless life. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Da Butsu.
I'm going to add something. Again, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Sensei, for reading all the names. I think being Buddhist, one of the memorial services every month is very special, and it's a tradition that we, I guess, cherish in our relationship with our ancestors and everybody else. So thank you all for showing up today. If you'd please rise, I have a short meditation reading. The sadness we feel at the moment of separation is fleeting, like a dream in the spring night. Whether we trust each other or revile each other now, let those who may be born in the Pure Lands sooner show the way to those who come later. To become one who leads others to the Pure Land is a pleasure for those who are born here. Honen. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Please be seated. And as Sensei said, well, Happy New Year again. We will have our first Sutra chanting for 2023. We will chant Sambutsuge. It's on page 33. So if you please open up your booklets and follow along with Sensei.
Yeah, thank you, Jeannie. Yeah, we will progress right away here now into the chanting of the Sambutsuge. Busatsu Daimuryo Jukyo Sanbutsuge Ogengigi Ijin Mugoku Myode Enmyo Muyo Tosha Nichigaten Mani Shuko Enyo Kaishten Nonpe Yunyaku Jumoku Nyorai Yogen Jose Murin Shongaku Daion Koru Jipo Kaimon Kyojin Sammai Chie Itoku Muryo Shushokeyu Yuntai Zennen Shobuten Hokai Gujin Jinno Kungon Gaitai Mumyo Yokunu Teison Yomu Minno Shi Okumuryo Kukun Kodai Chie Jinmyo Homyo Itho Shindo Daisen Ganga Thabuten Taisho Ho O Kado Shoji Mihu Gedaten Hute Joi Kainin Shojin Yode Sammai Chie Ijo Kothe Tokubuten Hungyo Shigan Isai Kuku Ithadayan Keshi Ubuten Yakusen Nokuman Muryo Daisho Shunyon Goja Kuyo Isai Shito Shobuten Funyo Gudo Kensho Hongyaku Inyon Goja Shobuten Sekai Bufu Kage Mushu Sendo Komyo Shisho Enshi Shokoku Nyoze Shojin Ijin Nanryo Yoga Sabuten Kudo Daichi Goshu Kimyo Godyo Chozaken Kokunyo Nayon Nimu Toto Wato Aimin Dodaten Isai Jipo Raisho Shinneten Shoujo Ito Ga Koku Keiraku Kobuten Shinmyo Sega Shinsho 卒願の日、力少所欲実法生存、知恵無下、上領子孫、自我心所、清涼心死、食毒中、作業精進な人寿不敬。ナマナブナマナブナマナブナマナブナマナブナマナブ。がにしくどく平等性一切どんもない真本領あらナマンダブルマンダナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブルマンダナモアミラブツナモアミラブツナモアミラブツナモアミラブツ。
Well, now we're going to get to sing the first Gatha for 2023. It's on page 132. I'm going to give you the page number first because I probably will not be able to read the title. It's Hotoke ni Idakarete. Yeah, so that's why I'm giving you the page number, 132. So please rise, and Kathy will lead us with the organ.
Hotoke ni Idakarete Kimi yuki nu Nishi no kishi Natsukashiki Omokage mo Kiehote shi Kanashita yo Mihotoke ni Idakarete Kimi yuki nu Jihi no kuni Misukui o Minakakete Shime shimasu Kashiko sayo by immeasurable light you are embraced and immeasurable life is realized. Your familiar face and your smile we've lost, but Amita's gift to you is enlightenment. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Nabutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Nabutsu. please remain standing for the three treasures. Would you like to read that, Jeannie, or you want? Okay, I'll go ahead and do it since I'm already here. And if you would, on page 10, if you're working from the book, page 10, the three treasures. How rare and wondrous it is to have been born into human life, and now I live it. How rare and wondrous it is to be able to listen to the Buddha Dharma, and now I am able to hear it. If I do not transcend the world of delusion in this life, when will I ever attain spiritual liberation? May I, along with the entire Sangha, with sincere heart and mind, rely on that which can be truly relied on in life, the three treasures. I rely on the Buddha. May I, along with all sentient beings, awaken to the great path with my entire being and discover the highest aspiration, which is to become a Buddha. I rely on the Dharma. May I, along with all sentient beings, deeply reflect on the meaning of the sutras and gain wisdom that is as deep and vast as the ocean. I rely on the Sangha. May I, along with all sentient beings, become one Sangha of life, able to move forward and to live with a dynamic spirit that is hindered by nothing. The unsurpassed, deep, and wondrous Dharma, even in millions of kalpas, is extremely difficult to encounter, but now I am able to experience and embrace it. May I come to understand and revere the true meaning of the Tathagata. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Please be seated. I forgot my mask, so I'm going to go through the Naijin over the other mic. Well, again, good morning. Thank you for attending this first service of the new year of 2023 here at the Pasadena Buddhist Temple. Thank you for being here, for participating in this service. This is, as you know, it's our Shotsuki Hoyo service. I read the names of those we know who have passed in January, who were close to us, and if you lost someone in January whose name isn't on the list, let me know. There's no charge for adding the name. And again, if there's any of you I haven't seen since New Year's, Happy New Year. In fact, even if I've seen you, Happy New Year. Have a good year. This first service of the new year is a happy event, but the first Shotsuki Hoyo Memorial Service of the year is an event of some solemnity. Buddhists often find ourselves in the midst of somewhat contrary feelings. We human beings live amidst a clash of forces, physical, social, economic, psychological forces pulling us this way and that way. We have contrasting values. We have commitments that pull us in contrasting directions. A value of ours is to continue to remember and honor family and friends who have passed before us. Love and respect move us to hold a dignified memorial service today. On the same day, we celebrate the new year together. First time to have a service together. So happy and sad all mixed together. This is how so often our things are, you know. Our Obon service, we have a very solemn service remembering those we loved and how sad we are that they're gone. And then we go outside and start dancing. And then we all know how that works because we're expressing our conviction that they are going to be all right. There is a goodness in embracing them. It's going to be okay. Same thing when we do the moon viewing. You look at the moon as a way of encountering the deep truth of life, and then you drink tea or sake or whatever and have a good time. But that first moment of really encountering truth is very important. Today's service is dedicated to those people whose names I read earlier. I knew some of these people, and I recall them fondly. I am indebted to all of those people whose names, whether I met them or not. And again, if you lost someone in the month of January, I'm very sorry for your loss. I do extend my sincere condolences to you. I will turn to the other main theme of today's Dharma talk, which is the three treasures. That's why we read the three treasures, devotional reading, kind of stay on theme here. The three treasures of the truth, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. It is, I think, appropriate to start the year with basics. And the three treasures is a topic we often address, as it is very basic and foundational. Foundational for our view of life, the reverence for the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. The Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha are the three aspects of our religious path which we especially treasure. So we refer to them as the three treasures, or the three jewels, the triple jewel. Now, Buddhism is a developmental tradition, like other systems of knowledge, like science. As a result, what these terms mean, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, what we mean by the Dharma, the Sangha, the Buddha, has expanded over 25 centuries. What Buddhists mean by the Dharma is both those teachings which our tradition preserves and broadens, and the deep truths which those teachings point toward. The truth itself and the teachings that point towards it are called the Dharma. We have been broadening our understanding of the Dharma for 25 centuries. When we mean by Dharma the teachings, we have a narrower and a broader view, and a very broad view of what the Dharma is. So I'm going to mention this, the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. There's the real accessible view, there's the bigger view, and then there's the vast view for all these. In the narrowest sense of the Dharma, it is what was taught by Shakyamuni Buddha 25 centuries ago during his lifetime in India. Although we can't be sure which, amongst the 100,000 pages and more of Dharmic teachings we have, which ones were taught directly by the Buddha, we have a pretty good idea of which teachings are the oldest, the older ones. And it's not problematic, for instance, to attribute directly to Shakyamuni Buddha the teaching of impermanence, the teaching of interrelatedness, interconnectedness, and karmic law, the fact that it matters what you do. If you do bad stuff happens. If you do good stuff happens. That should be obvious, but we keep forgetting that day after day. Again, in the narrowest sense of the Dharma, we mean what was taught by Shakyamuni in his lifetime. But again, the Buddha Dharma is a field of knowledge that expands, broadens over time, grows with new discernments. So the Dharma is not just a group of teachings given by a man in India 2,500 years ago. The Dharma is any teaching that leads to enlightenment. And even that in large category, any teaching that leads to awakening is only a medium-level explanation of the Dharma. It's broader than that. It's broader than that. Whatever you think, it's more than that. It's more than that. What we mean by the Dharmic teachings, the verbal expressions of truth, then is, what we mean by the Dharma is anything that's true. This is what we learned in the seminar. The Dharma is what was taught by the Buddha, anything that leads you to enlightenment, and anything that's true. It's a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff. So, the Dharma is that we all have Buddha nature, for instance. We all have the potential to awaken to Buddhahood. It's also a Dharmic point that we all must die one day. I've known a couple people in my lives that were involved with like New Age religions, some Japanese religions that came up after the war. They think they're going to live forever. I met some people that they think that somehow they're going to like keep their bodies alive for a real long time. One guy said, about 200 years, I'll be very disappointed if I don't live to be 200. He's going to be disappointed. You can't live to be 200 under the current conditions. You cannot. We are going to die one day. I've met a couple of people that don't believe it. It's better if you know that truth. There is something after this current biological lifetime. That is something we teach as well. Also, the Dharma is that driving very fast on wet roadways is dangerous. That's the truth. That's the truth about be careful out there. And we all know what happens in the greater Los Angeles area when it rains. 90% of the people drive too fast, and 10% of the people drive way too slow. You got those guys going 10 miles an hour in the right lane. Don't do that. You're going to get hit from behind. It's dangerous. That's a fact about life. That is the Dharma. The Dharma is the truth about life, the deep truth, impermanence, interconnectedness, also just the simple things like be careful driving when it's been raining. Since the Dharma is anything that's true, we've got a lot of learning ahead of us. The triple jewel of Buddhist religiosity is, again, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. The awoken ones, Buddha, the teachings affirmed by those of profound discernment, the Dharma, and the community of those who aspire for enlightenment, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Now, just as with Dharma and Sangha, we can understand the Buddha in a very vast way, or in a smallish way, or in a big-ish way. In its smallest denotation, in the smallest sense that any Buddhist ever uses Buddha, it means the awoken ones. It never means just Shakyamuni. He was clear about that. I am Buddha. Buddha is one who has awoken deeply to the truth of human life. He said there were others before me. We have said there are others in other realms. It never meant exclusively a particular man in India, Buddha. Gautama Siddhartha of the Shakya clan was the first of the enlightened ones on earth whose teachings we have kept record of. He said there were others before him, no doubt of that. We say there are Pratyeka Buddhas, people who just get it on their own somehow. Just wake up, just say, oh wow, I see, it's really one reality. But we do believe our tradition helps a lot of people to wake up who may not have otherwise. Buddha denotes or refers to or means the enlightened ones, all who have awoken to the profound meaning of impermanence, interconnectedness, karmic law, etc., etc., etc. There's a lot of Dharma to learn. Looking at the Buddha now. The Buddha is absolute subjectivity. I've told you that before. That's Kakwe Miyaji's explanation. The Buddha is the vast mind that includes all of us. The Buddha is the expansive personhood, the inclusive identity of all awoken life. And that's the medium level explanation of what Buddha is. The medium level of inclusiveness. We Jodo Shinshu Buddhists pretty much stick to that. That's big enough for us. Focusing on Amida Buddha, the source of limitless wisdom and endless life, is vast enough for us. It's a vast enough concept of Buddhahood, but even that can be expanded. Juri, the founder of Tentai Buddhism, in which Honen Shonin, Shinran Shonin, Dogen Zenji were all trained, he taught Hongaku. He taught that we're all enlightened originally and we just moved away from it. Sounds kind of like Plato, doesn't it? We don't believe that. That's not true. That is not true. And same thing with Buddha nature. It's not something good inside you. It's not like, oh, I'm kind of messed up, but I got this thing in my pocket. Buddha nature, all right, yeah, it'll be all of me one day. No, it's not in there. It's not in there. Buddha nature is a potential. Every living being has the potential to awaken. We may want too much. We sometimes have to accept what we have. Juri wanted us to believe you were originally awoken, used to be a Buddha, and you'll be a Buddha again one day. The Zen tradition kept that idea. Jodo Shinshu, Zen kind of moved away from it a bit. The Buddha, as a source of limitless wisdom and endless life, again, is vast enough concept for us, Amida Buddha. The Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And I've been talking about the Buddha and the Dharma and how they really are vast and immense and inclusive. And now I want to talk about our jewel of the crown of Buddhist tradition, which is the inclusive community, the Sangha. At the minimum, the Sangha would include all Buddhists, Theravada, Mahayana, Zen, Jodo Shinshu, Shingon, all of it. But that's the small concept of what a Buddhist is, a Buddhist community is. The medium level concept of the Buddhist community, the one we stick to, is still pretty big, and that is all sentient beings. Every living being is part of our community. That's a pretty vast community for us to belong to, But even that could be expanded, you know. And we're kind of traditional in this regard, that Buddhists have drawn a line somewhere. We don't tell you where it's drawn, but we tell you what it is. It's the line between sentience and non-sentience. It's the line between having experience and not having experience. We're very concerned with everything that has experience because they can suffer or be happy. We want them to be happy. Most everything we've seen can be kindly or mean. We want living beings to be kindly and to learn to be kindly. Every living being has the potential of awakening thoroughly to Buddhahood. This could be further expanded. There's a guy on the internet saying, well, I wonder in Zen maybe like rocks are sentient beings. No, they're not. Shinran and Dogen Zenji both say that we include the rocks and the sand within our enlightenment. That's right, we include them as rocks. They don't need any, they're fine. We're not. We're not. We need something more than we got. Rocks are just fine. The sand is just fine like it is, you know. So we draw a line there, but you could say everything. You know, here's another Buddha. No, it's a pen. It's made out of plastic and metal, and it's a very nice pen. And people all put on the Facebook, you know, when was the last time you saw someone with one of these, right? And, gee, I have one in my pocket right now. I guess it's an official mark of the nerd, but I keep these 4-color pens, you know. It's not alive. I should treat it well, because if I don't treat it with some respect, I'm going to start kicking the cat, right? But really, the pen doesn't know if you treat it with respect or not. The cat does. We should talk to our deceased loved ones because they're part of our community. If you don't do that, there's something a bit off, you know? I talk to my mother pretty much every day. I talk to my father every week, a couple times a week. They don't talk back as much. I haven't heard them respond yet. If I do, I'll go get professional help. But you can believe I talk to them. And I talk to my cat. You should talk to your cat. It doesn't know the fine nuances of what you're saying, but it knows you're communicating with it. It looks at you and it can tell you're trying to express something. Talk to your cat. Talk to your deceased loved ones. Don't talk to the couch. We draw a line. We're traditional Buddhists in that regard, that couch is just a couch. It's okay. Don't kick it because you'll have to buy a new one. But it doesn't know. Any living thing, be kind to it if you can. If you can. There's this statement attributed to the current Dalai Lama I always abridge, that he is said to have said, be kind whenever you can. Be kind whenever it's possible. It's always possible. He's not always kind. I'm in there when he blew his top with a couple of people. The truth is, be kind whenever you can. It is sometimes possible. If you're a nice person, it's often possible. If you're me, it's sometimes possible. Be nice whenever you can, because it is sometimes possible. It's not always possible for me in a real situation. It's not always possible for most humans in a real situation, but we can try some of the time. This is a vast enough community for me to belong to, the community of all living things, all sentient beings, everything that has feelings. Again, you don't need to talk to your couch unless you just banged your toe on it, in which case you may have some choice words for it. But please talk to your cat, and for every now and then, I think there's something odd about people who don't talk to their deceased mother, their deceased life partner. I mean, why would you not? You know, I know they can't respond to me, but they had a real life that I remember. They were a person, and I believe that personhood is continuing in another form, whether or not they're real and they matter to me and I talk to them. But you don't need to talk to the podium, the couch. Draw a line somewhere. Any living thing is part of our community. Non-living things, we try to treat them nicely. That is what I had to say today, if I may. Close the Dharma message portion of our service, trying to honor those we love who've passed in January, remembering that they were very important to us, very important to this temple, and also remembering this threefold treasure that we honor. Thank you so much. We'll close the Dharma message portion of the service with Kansho, posture of respect and kindness, and in saying the Buddha's name a few times. We rely upon the source of limitless wisdom and endless life. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you.
Thank you, Sensei, for your message. I think we'll all not drive too fast and realize that this is not a trial run, that we will live our life like it is our only life. So if you will please rise for a short closing message. Death itself is not suffering. Only the thinking of death makes for suffering. Death is the birth of Higan, the other shore, the formless absolute, the natural law of eternal time and infinite space. Amida vows to save all beings without exception, but when we doubt his vow, our mind is then floating this way and that. Therefore, there is no true happiness. There are many such people, for doubting is a very common inclination, but even those floating will one day be born in the Pure Land. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you. Please be seated. And I get to start the announcements. Next Sunday is our Honko service, followed by our New Year luncheon. All members of the temple, we will provide obento free for those who would like to stay for bento. We are suggesting a $20 donation. And I need to get to know today if you're going to want a bento, because I'm turning the orders in tomorrow. Tomorrow, Monday, we are resuming our walking around the temple. We are changing the time to 9 o'clock from 8:30 because it's not hot anymore. So if you want to come and walk, we meet. If the gates close, come on in, because we have somebody that brings a dog, so we keep the gate closed. But we walk from about 9 o'clock, and the value of walking here is that if you need to stop to use the restroom, it's right there. And we realize it is exactly 1/4 mile around the perimeter of our lot. Tuesday is Panda Express. If you haven't had Panda in 2023, your first chance to help BWA raise some money is on Tuesday, all day, any Panda, any place in the country. It is online orders only, and the code for our fundraiser is on the website. And on Tuesday also, Sumire Kai returns, and Sensei has his classes. And Tai Chi at 1
o'clock for Tai Chi, and 11 o'clock for discussion, and another discussion at 7, presentation at 6.
Did you hear that? Discussion is at 11 and 7, and then 1 o'clock is Tai Chi. So that's starting again this Tuesday. Any other announcements? Friday night is our first series of lectures that we'll be having about our temple and its relationship with the neighborhood here in Pasadena. And Kathy? Oh, it's okay. Sumire Kai is not starting this Tuesday. Okay. Never mind on that. Anything else? Well, check the website because we have the schedule for the Invisible Tea House lectures. It'll be for the next 3 Fridays. It will be inside. Last Friday was outside. It was nice, but it was a little bit chilly. So starting this Friday, we will be inside. Oh, what's the seminar called? I can't, yeah. If you wanted to attend the seminar at the end of January, please let the Pacific Winter Seminar, it is a hybrid. You could either go to Nishi or you could view it online. There is a $30 fee, but we need to turn in all your registration on one form. So please. Yeah, if you could let Sensei know or Kathy Kumagai know. Mm-hmm.
So it's a woman professor of Buddhist studies, so that's something we like to see, and be interesting to hear what she has to say.
Right. So again, Happy New Year, and if you didn't offer incense to begin with, please offer incense before you depart. And if you want to make an offering, you can leave it up here, or we also have an offertory box at the back.